Everybody, welcome back to another edition of Inside the Zone with Mateo. And yes, I know it's a Wednesday, and I don't normally do any episodes on Wednesdays. However, Tuesday, March 10th may have been the best sport day that we have had in ages. So we got a bonus episode here on March 11th. We're going to be talking about a lot of things in a short amount of time. I also want to take a minute to just say here, this is on our normal podcast, Inside the Zone with Mateo. It's a special edition show, season 2, episode 21. However, I will be breaking up each topic into its own episode, and I will be releasing it as its own little section. So if you want to just see one specific thing, I will break it up so you can go. All those videos will be in the link of this description. But yeah, welcome, guys. We're not going to have a formal intro because we're going to have kind of 3 intros to kind of break it up today. But Inside the Zone with Mateo, dude, yesterday was insane. I was not expecting. Obviously, I do an episode on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we got a bonus episode here on Wednesday. I got a short amount of time to do so as well, so it's going to hopefully be some quicker episodes today. But here we go. Inside the Zone with Mateo. Mateo's show batting order. We're going to talk about Bam. Bam passing Kobe, 83 points. We're also going to talk about the upset of the year in the World Baseball Classic. And then the Ravens madness we got to get to. We're going to close the show with that. But also, again, if you want to just see one specific thing, I will clip these and put them out as their own separate video. So you can go ahead and check those out if you just want to see it or fast forward to in the video. Appreciate everybody for watching. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. But now it is time to start the basketball section of this episode today. We're talking about the Bam passing Kobe Bryant. Let's roll the intro, and then let's get underway. That is right, everybody. Welcome back to another edition Inside the Zone with Mateo here on Inside the Wolves. We are talking about Bam Adebayo because what a day he had last night. We got ourselves a bonus episode here. We don't normally do episodes on Wednesdays, but it's a bonus episode because we're going to talk all about Bam Adebayo because he passed Kobe Bryant and now is second all time in most points scored in one single NBA game. He scored 83 points last night against the Washington Wizards, and it's time to break it all down. So without further ado, let's start it. Let's start into it here. Let's just start where it began. The box score, obviously, is where we got to start. Let me pull that up for us right now because, man, what a game it was. What a game it was as this website, as ESPN gets to load because they have to lag today. But Kobe Bryant, bro, respect to him. And I'm going to share some respect. I'm going to share you my thoughts here. But my goodness, Bam Adebayo. 83 points. He had I believe 42 points in one. Sorry. He had 42 points at one half or something. He was absolutely balling. So let's go to the box score. I'm not lying. Just so you guys know, I'm not lying. It's been all over. There he is again. It's been all over social media and the sports world, but we don't care about the Wizards stats. We only care about Bam Adebayo here. Let me zoom in for y'all. Let me zoom in all the way in so y'all can see this. Bam Adebayo in 42 minutes, 83 points. 83 points. And by the way, he only shot 20 of 43 from the floor. But the big thing people are saying, he shot 43 free throws, making 36 of them. So people are saying, well, he didn't actually do it. Like Kobe didn't do that as much and stuff like that. And I get where you're coming from. But man, you got to honor this greatness because greatness just happened. Whether you like it or not, it happened. Bam Adebayo just scored 83 points in one game. And is now Second all time. Second all time here on basketballreference.com. Like, they had to update this. I don't think they would have ever thought they would have had to update this. Certainly not for Bam Adebayo. You maybe a Luka Doncic who hit 73 in 2024 with the Dallas Mavericks, or maybe LeBron, or maybe Jokic or Giannis. But no, it's Bam Adebayo. 83 points. He was 17 away from, being number one. Obviously, Wilt's 100. It's from 1962. I'm kind of curious, like, did that actually happen? But anyway, yeah, it's just insane. It's just insane that we're even talking about this. And, there's only three people, him, Wilt Chamberlain, and Kobe Bryant, who has ever scored more than 80 points. And it's just absolutely insane that Bam Adebayo is in that name. Bam Adebayo, Kobe Bryant, Wilt Chamberlain. And so now you have to, when you talk about Bam, like, that's a great stat. Like, I didn't, this is what I was thinking. It was like, before this, if we were to think, okay, who current day players, out of the current day players, which players would, have a chance of passing this? Obviously, Doncic comes to mind. Tatum, maybe a full healthy Tatum, for sure, like a Wemby type of player. Maybe Anthony Edwards, maybe LeBron James, maybe Jokic, maybe SGA. But no, it's Bam Adebayo. Out of all these current players, he gets 83 points and passes Kobe Bryant. A lot of people are not happy about that because they want, Kobe to be honored. But, you got to honor greatness when greatness comes. It is absolutely insane that, I'm going to keep saying that because it is insane. Because nobody would have thought that Bam Adebayo would have scored 83 points in one game, moving to second all time in points per game. Points in a game, sorry. I mean, sure, yeah, they're talking about the free throws, how it's too many free throws, and maybe it was a little rigged at the end of the game. However, I just don't think it was. You got to honor, like, maybe it was. Okay, maybe it was rigged. Maybe it was. But you still got to honor greatness when that happens. Like, no matter what. I think Giannis said it that way. Like, it's still, you got to honor it. It still happened. No matter how it happened, it doesn't matter how it happened. It still happened. And, Bam Adebayo is getting the credit he deserves. Sure, it was against the Wizards. Sure, he played the entire game, even though the game was pretty much over. The Heat were going to win that. You just got to, I just don't get why people are making it such a big deal. Sure, I understand the whole Kobe thing. But, like, he was so close, so why not get him there? It's good for him. It's just insane. Good for U.S. basketball as well. He'll probably be on the Olympic team in 2028. And it's just crazy. I don't think it's fully sunk in. It's not fully sunk in. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Like, do you like this, or do you think he should have been pulled? There's because the game was over early into the fourth quarter. Do you think he should have been pulled, or do you think he should have kept playing? I personally think he should have kept playing. And I'm glad he did. And I'm glad he did this because I'm just so shocked too. Like, when it happened, I was shocked. Like, it's just crazy. And I don't know how much I can, talk about this, especially with only one person. I don't have multiple people coming in, but that's when I want you guys to go in the comments. Was this right for him to keep playing? Let me know. I'll have a conversation with you guys in the comments. But for me, I just don't see a problem with it. And it's just congratulations to Bam Adebayo because, he etched himself in history. He etched himself in history, which I think is really cool. Here, I got this graphic here. It's not totally accurate. AI made it, so they don't all get the spellings right of everything. But anyway, they get the key stats right. Top 10 NBA all-time top 10 single game scoring performances. I just like this graphic better than Basketball Reference just because it's more, it looks better. You've got Chamberlain a couple times, Bam Adebayo, Kobe Bryant, and then David Thompson, Luka Doncic, and Baylor. If you saw my short reacting to it last night, this is the graphic I used. It's just insane. 20 years ago is when Kobe had that game. Here you can see 2006. It was the end of January, so almost exactly 20 years ago, 2 decades ago, Kobe Bryant had that game. And, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. I don't think he should have died. Nobody thinks he should have died. But, dude, it's just absolutely insane. And this is, I'm going to keep saying it because it is insane that we're talking that Bam Adebayo does it before LeBron, before Jokic, before Wemby, before Tatum, before Curry, before Durant, before Giannis, before all these players. He does it. He does it, and Jordan never did it. Jordan, his high was 69, I believe, as you can see right here, 17th all time. Like, he has to be now associated with greats. And that's crazy because coming in to this season, I respect Bam, but he's definitely not, I don't think, a top 20 player in my opinion. I probably could name 20 players better than him. But now, like, he has this argument. It's just insane. Like, and if you're a LeBron fan, if you say LeBron is, the GOAT, and a lot of people, when they say LeBron is the GOAT, they go to the all-time scoring leader because LeBron has that right now, right? Now, the Laker fans who are arguing that LeBron's the GOAT, now what about this? You have to use the same argument that you're using for LeBron, that maybe Bam is one of the best players ever. And it just, hearing that sentence kind of just doesn't feel right, but you got to show credit where credit is due. And it's just absolutely insane that, they've been keeping track of this since the 1946-1947 season. And we can scroll down here. Like Jordan, 69. A bunch of 67-point games for Wilt, but Kobe had a 65. Giannis did have a 64. Karl Anthony Towns and Devin Booker each had 62. Steph had 62. Melo had 62. McGrady had 62. Jokic, his high is 61. So is Harden's and Brunson's and LeBron's. A lot of 61-point games. And that's all in recent time, which is just kind of crazy. Shaq's high is 61. Karl Malone's 61. Like, you're saying, like, Bam scored like 20 plus more points than all of these greats. Jordan had a couple 61-point games. De'Aaron Fox had a 60-point game. You see Kyrie had a 60-point game. Bradley Beal, 60-point game. Dame, has had, I think, what was Dame's? Dame's high is 71. And you just think about these, like a bunch of 60-point games, and then you go to like the Anthony Davises of the world who had a 59-point game, and we thought that was great, right? And it's just insane that Bam is now number 2, and I don't know if we're going to see somebody pass him for a while. Like, I feel like a conversation we could have now is, of the active players, who has now the best chance to beat that? I think Wembanyama definitely can get there. I think the way Wembanyama plays, and kind of similar to the way Jokic plays, those centers who are right up the basket, in my opinion, I feel like centers, we've seen it with Wilt Chamberlain. Like, the bigger guys can score more points because they're normally going to have a size advantage. Therefore, they can get some points easier in the paint. So, in my opinion, like, Wemby, I don't know, just because Giannis's age is going there, I feel like we could maybe get a 70-pointer from Giannis, but I don't know about an 80. I think Wemby, not a lock, but almost a lock that he could be somebody to try to get at least 80 points. Luka, watching him play last night against the Timberwolves, which, by the way, we're going to talk about the Timberwolves some other time. They've been in an interesting spot right now, but Luka is definitely a good player. I think SGA could possibly get there, especially, if you're talking about the free throws, SGA gets so many free throws. Okay, so Adebayo had 43 free throws attempted. In a way, I could see SGA get that many. I think I could see SGA trying to get, into the 70s at least. Yeah, Wemby. I don't know about Anthony Edwards here as a Timberwolves fan. He's got a lot of time, but I don't know if that his play type. If he goes off, if he starts hitting all the threes, then maybe. But even then, Bam did it without the threes. He hit 7 threes. So I'm saying that's like where it comes into play with like a Wembanyama. I think LeBron's too old to do that now. KD's a little bit older to do that. And maybe like Willa Cooper Flag or AJ DeBonsa or Cam Boozer do that possibly. But for now, I think Jokic for sure has a chance. I think Wembanyama has a chance. I think Luka could have a chance, especially because he's already dropped 73. So he just needs 10 more points to tie Bam. So maybe even 11 more points. I could see it. I could see it for sure. SGA, I think those are going to be kind of my four. Jokic, SGA, Doncic, and Wemby. I think those are my four that have a chance to do it realistically. But obviously, we weren't even thinking Bam could do it. So maybe a guy like Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown or Karl Anthony Towns could do it. Someone like that who's, little on, I think Tatum's still really good, but he's coming off an injury. So that's why Tatum is kind of down on me. But he's been playing. He's been playing well in his return. But yeah, what say you guys? Which players do you think have a chance to now pass Bam? And do you think we will get another 100-point scorer? I think we will. I think Wemby's going to do it. And if Wemby does that, he will be considered the GOAT. But until Wemby does that, I think Edwards is a little bit better right now. But I do think Wemby does have a chance to hit 100. I just think by the way he plays, and you think about it, he has that three-point shot. He has the dunking. He has the inside. He has the mid-range. He has almost everything. So if he has that right night, maybe he plays the Wizards sometime or the Kings. Maybe he goes off. Maybe, just maybe, he could hit 100 points in the coming years to come. We'll see, though. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. But man, I mean, we gotta give Bam a lot of credit because, wow, I just him hitting that many shots, hitting that many points, dropping that many points is just absolutely insane. It's just insane. And, Bam Adebayo, he deserves that credit. And he so much that we were able to do, we were able to film a bonus episode for y'all of Inside the Zone with Mateo. So if you're watching also this episode just as a breakdown, because I'm going to so what I'm doing is I'm actually combining one episode into kind of 3 mini episodes. So, because we're doing one about Bam here. This is kind of going to wrap it up. It's just shorter episodes. One about the World Baseball Classic upset with USA and Italy. And then one on kind of Max Crosby. They're all going to be in one big episode, but I'm also breaking them down. So, depending on where you're watching, if you're just on the Bam episode, go ahead and check the other ones out. If you're watching the full thing, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. But again, congratulations to Bam Adebayo in winning the game, obviously, but also dethroning Kobe Bryant. That's just crazy. Dethroning Kobe Bryant. He's now second all time in NBA single game leaders, record for points, all that stuff. Now, will this performance grant Bam Adebayo a Hall of Fame spot? That's a discussion for another time. But again, appreciate everybody for watching. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Again, Bam passes Kobe Bryant in an 83-point game. One game, he scored 83 points. Absolutely insane. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day. Don't forget to keep God first because he's the most important thing in your lives. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Everybody, welcome back. If you're watching, if you're still in the long episode, thank you guys so much for staying around. But if you're just tuning into this standalone bonus episode, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for joining in. So basically, just kind of something to just be as a reminder here. So I don't normally do an episode on Wednesdays, but it's been a crazy day. It's been an absolutely crazy day in sports these last couple of days. This last day mostly. And, we talked about Bam passing Kobe in our other episode. Go ahead and check that episode out if you are just watching the World Baseball Classic video that we're going to talk about now here. But if you're still in the full episode, appreciate everybody for watching. But basically, we're doing a full episode. That's the thumbnail for it. It's a special edition show, so it's going to be about an hour long. And then I'm going to actually chop these all up into smaller episodes and release them separately as well. So one, as we take a look at the batting order, we already did Bam passing Kobe in our big episode. That was first. And that full episode, of course, is out now. And just that little segment is also out now on my YouTube channel. But now we're also going to talk about upset of the year. And then in the full episode, we are also going to talk about the Ravens Madness with Max Crosby, Trey Henderson, and all that stuff. But now we focus our attention to the upset of the year. We got our bonus episode here. World Baseball Classic, WBC, basically the International Baseball Tournament. And it's just, okay, how do I even start? I don't know how I even start. Well, let's start here. It's basically, you start with, if you don't know what the World Baseball Classic is, you start with kind of like a group stage like the World Cup. It's groups of 4 or 5 teams. I think it's 5 teams. There's 4 groups of 5 teams, I'm pretty sure. And with that, so everybody plays each other once. It's called pool play, and then you get standings for that, right? For USA, Team USA, they're in a group with Italy, Mexico, Great Britain, and Brazil. They took care of business against Brazil, Mexico, and Great Britain. So they were 3-0 coming into their final pool play game last night against Italy, who surprisingly was 2-0 after they beat Great Britain and Brazil pretty nicely. And so people were saying, okay, if USA wins against Italy, they punch their ticket to the next round, and then that's a knockout stage. So the top 2 teams of each pool get to advance, right? So USA, they rested a couple of their starters, but a lot of their major pieces were still playing. And all of a sudden, 5th or 6th inning, Italy is up 8-0. And people are saying, like, what the heck is going on? Well, it turns out later that, despite trying to come back with some home runs from PCA and Gunnar Henderson, USA loses. They lose 8-6. They try to come back, but they unfortunately can't. And they lose 8-6. And so now, here are the standings in pool play. USA now has to wait for Mexico and Italy to play each other tonight to see if they're going to get moved on. And entering the entire tournament, USA was an insane favorite. It was like almost everybody was picking USA to win. Sure, there's some other teams like Japan who went 4-0, Venezuela who's playing really well, so is Dominican Republic. However, USA was the major favorite with basically an all-star team. And everybody has MLB players mixed in, but USA had the most, and it's just they were the clear favorite, right? But now they have a chance, to lose literally in the pool play. So with this loss, they go to 3-1. Which means if Italy does beat Mexico tonight, Italy goes to 4-0, Mexico goes to 2-2, and therefore USA would still make it into the next round, the knockout stages, which is just one game and you're in, one game you're out, right? USA would still make it. However, if Mexico wins, the 3 teams go into a 3-way tie. By the way, only the top 2 teams, the top 2 teams can only make it, okay? The top 2 teams can only make it from the pool to the next round. So, for instance, here, if the standings hold up, Puerto Rico and Canada would make out of Pool A. Japan and Korea have actually punched their tickets to the next round. Venezuela and the Dominican Republic have done the same. So we're just waiting here for, the winner of Canada and Cuba, I'm pretty sure. And then, obviously, this Pool B, which we thought, okay, yeah, USA was going to win easily. And then the second spot was maybe up for grabs. But Italy, not known at all for baseball, has started to develop baseball players and shocked the world by beating the U.S. last night. Now, the U.S. is now cheering for Italy because if Italy wins, USA is also in. But if Mexico were to win, and Mexico's feisty, they still have some MLB talent, and I would not be shocked if Mexico wins at all. If Mexico wins, they go to a 3-way tie, which is, the 3-way tie first. There's a bunch of different tiebreakers, but the first one they go to is head-to-head matchups. But that results in nothing because Italy, even though they beat USA, they would have lost to Mexico, so they would have been split. USA beat Mexico but lost to Italy, and then Mexico would have beaten Italy, but still lost to USA. So they would have all been 1-1. So there would not have been a tiebreaker, right? So they go to a different tiebreaker, which is the number of runs given up divided by the number of outs recorded. Okay, and I'm gonna pull up my website here because if you guys don't know, I have a website. Oh wait, this is the wrong. Hold on, that was my editor. I have a website where you can still find my podcast, but also I write articles and blogs and stuff like that. And I just have it written down, so it might just be easier to understand if it's out on in wording. So I'm gonna scroll down here for the procedures here. So here's the website. If you want my website, it's always in the link in the description. But here, let me just read to you what I wrote. Now, USA still does have a path to the next round if Italy beats Mexico tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. However, if Mexico wins, all three teams will have a three-way tie, which will then be decided by runs given up divided by outs recorded. If this becomes the case for the USA to advance, they would need Mexico to score more than 4 runs, or Team USA would be eliminated in pool play, shocking the entire baseball world. So to sum that up, if Mexico wins, USA needs them to have a monster offensive game. Because if they don't have a monster offensive game, if it's a close game, and I think it's going to be a close game, if they score 4 or less runs and still win the game, Mexico and Italy will advance, and USA will be first rounded in the group in the pool play. So, and then I continue here. I say, nonetheless, US players will not be relaxing today, as their fate lies with Mexico and Italy, whose game they will be watching closely to see if they will move on or not. Again, I apologize here for the wording in some of this, because yeah, it's a little messy, but I was kind of just rushing to get it out before I went to bed last night. But it's just insane. Okay, it's insane that it's come to this. By no means, with that lineup that Team USA has, headlined by Aaron Judge, Cal Raleigh, Paul Skeens, Gunnar Henderson, Bobby Witt Jr., Bryce Harper, PCA, and company, and there's more. Basically, a team full of all-stars. There is no way on earth, it's inexplainable that you lose to Team Italy. Italy, who, sure, they have, some talented MLB players, but it's still not compared to this. You were getting smoked. You were getting killed within the first 6 innings. You did start to, rally too late. And I do think if they would have started, maybe in the 4th inning rather than the 6th or 7th inning, they would have had a chance. But I mean, you got to give props to Italy too. They struck out Aaron Judge to end the game. Aaron Judge could have easily tied the game. There was 1 on, 2 out, and Aaron Judge was up to bat. He could have easily hit a home run to tie the game, or just made a good contact hit and maybe, to keep the inning going. But you were able to strike out maybe one of the best players in the world and beat USA, who some people call a God squad, the dream team. And it's just inexcusable that the USA would put themselves in a position that they are now not going to be relaxing. They're going to be watching the game, scoreboard watching, doing the stats, because if Mexico wins, they have to score less than 4 runs for USA to advance. And despite this, even if they make it out of pool play, because either Italy wins or Mexico wins and they kill Italy and score so many runs, it's still, you got to say, why were you not prepared? And from the manager, it seems like they didn't fully understand the rules, which is also inexcusable. You get paid millions of dollars to play this game and you don't understand the rules. What is going on? It's inexcusable. It's just so shocking. And that's why I titled this article or this blog saying the unthinkable might just happen. Italy might make it. Italy might win and keep the United States in. So, the U.S., they're cheering for Italy. They want to just Italy to drink those espressos and continue to win. And then if Italy goes 4-0, which is something else too. Italy, if they go 4-0, oh my gosh. So you're cheering, as a U.S. fan, you're cheering for Italy. And by the way, I just got to say, my dad's Italian. I'm Matteo Montermini. Yeah. Just got to say, I'm Italian. So this is kind of cool for our heritage. But I also am an American, and I'm an American first. And so as a U.S. fan, I'm not going to be watching this game because I got some other things to do tonight. However, I will be watching the scoreboard and it's just embarrassing too. Like our sport is baseball and football. Like we were able to win in hockey in the Olympics. We were able to, win in basketball, which is starting to become more global. But baseball is one of the most American things ever. And if an outside country, Italy, who's known for soccer and food and coffee and gelato, if they just beat you and I mean, really frankly, killed you, it's just embarrassing as well. So there's no reason on earth that USA should have lost that and put them in a spot. They should have been 4-0. They should have been just as good as Japan, maybe Venezuela. But now Italy has a chance to be as good as Japan or Venezuela when Italy is not known at all for baseball at all. It's just crazy. Props to them, though. And so, yeah, we're as a reminder here, if Mexico wins and scores less than 4 runs, 4 or less runs, so they can even score 4. If they say the score is 4-1, if Mexico scores 4 runs and Italy scores less, USA is out. If Mexico scores 5 or more runs and they win the game, USA and Mexico, I believe, will advance. If Italy wins, it's going to be Italy and US. If Mexico wins, it depends on the run scored in the math, okay? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens tonight. Let me know your guys' thoughts. How inexcusable is it? I can't believe the managers even said it in front of everybody that they didn't really know that they thought they literally thought their ticket to the next round was punched. They thought, we were ready to go and now we're just playing. We're going to still keep some of our guys in and we're just not going to take it as serious. But they didn't realize that this could come. And now they are facing the consequences and it's just embarrassing to be an American baseball fan right now. And wow, if they somehow get into the next round, they better win it all because they are going to get super, super lucky. Because I would not be surprised at all. I would not be surprised at all if the USA now will not make the next round. They get eliminated in pool play. It's just insane. It's just absolutely insane. But let me know your guys' thoughts, of course. I mean, the biggest upset ever. Biggest upset in the world right now. Upset of the year is just absolutely crazy. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. If you're still watching the full episode, appreciate everybody out there, for watching that. Let me know your guys' takes on this whole thing. And then if you're watching just this episode here on the WBC, consider hitting that like button and subscribe button and tuning into the rest of the bonus episode today. All those videos will be linked in the description. Appreciate everybody for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know anything that you want to know. If you have any opinions on this, let me know in the comments down below, and I will get back to you once I see your comment. But is this also the upset of the year? I think it has to be. This is crazy. Team Italy beats Team USA. Congratulations to Team Italy. And we're going to be scoreboard watching tonight. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on our road to 500 subscribers. Don't forget to keep God first because he's the most important thing in your life. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. But now it's time. It's now time for the final thing we're talking about, Max Crosby. everybody? Welcome back one more time. And for those who don't understand what one more time is, well, basically, we don't do an episode on Wednesdays, but it's been a crazy day. It was a crazy day, March 10th, 2026. That was yesterday, Tuesday. And I felt like I had to get a special edition show. We talked, there was the Bam Adebayo 83-point game. There was the upset in the WBC, USA losing to Team Italy. But then there was also the Max Crosby news, and then it followed up with the Trey Hendrickson news this morning. So basically what I did is say, okay, we're going to do a special edition show. I'm going to film the whole thing together, back to back, everything together in one episode. I'm going to post that, but I'm also going to clip each and every one into its own little episode so you guys can find them out, just kind of like 10 to 15-ish minute episodes on those opinions if you just want to watch that certain opinion. So thank you guys so much for staying in through the entire episode. If you're watching the entire episode, comment you've made it so far. But also, if you're just watching here on the Max Crosby video, if you just clicked on that, thank you guys so much for watching, and consider hitting that like button and subscribe button if you want more sports content coming to you guys. I normally do a podcast episode every Tuesday and Thursday, and then we got some other things throughout the channel, shorts as well. But yeah, let's get right into it to finish up the show here. So we already, as I mentioned, talked about Bam passing Kobe Bryant. And by the way, if you're just watching this NFL episode here, I will link all the videos in the description as well on all these other, if you just want to see, like, if you don't care about the WBC, but you want to see about Bam and all that stuff, you can click that one and stuff. Consider liking all these videos too. Hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already. But we talked about Bam passing Kobe. We talked about the upset of the year. Bam scored 83 points a game. That's what the thumbnail looks like if you're interested. The upset of the year, WBC, Team USA getting upset, and now could be on elimination alert tonight. We'll have to wait and see of what happens. But now, the Ravens madness has officially begun. So for those who do not know, today, Wednesday, March 11th at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern, the new NFL season starts. And, but prior to this, you could still negotiate with contracts. That kind of opened up, I believe, on Monday. And so this big news dropped this weekend that, Max Crosby was going to get traded from the Raiders to the Ravens for 2 first-round picks. But earlier last night, in a shocking development, Adam Schefter released that this was not going to happen because the Ravens basically pulled out. They basically pulled out of this entire trade. It's absolutely insane. So here's what the Raiders said. The Raiders quoted the Ravens on this. So here on X, this is from Adam Schefter. He says, this is the Raiders quoting, though. Sorry about this, the confusion. It says, the Baltimore Ravens have backed out of our trade agreement for Max Crosby. We will have no further comment at this time. So, shock the world. So basically, here's something to know. This is where people have been getting confused. They've been saying, well, wasn't the trade process? Well, no, not technically, because the NFL new season doesn't actually begin until today at 4 p.m. Eastern. That's March 11th, 4 p.m. Eastern. So none of the trades that have been reported or any of the signings have to necessarily go through. Normally they do go through, and so this is why it's so shocking. But this is actually, you can actually do this. And so more on this. Basically, Max Crosby failed his physical. Obviously, for those who do not know, Max Crosby had knee surgery, I think, in January, and then was on crutches until actually 1 week ago. So it kind of makes sense that he failed his physical. However, it's just shocking that, the Ravens kind of backed out. We've never really seen something like this happen, involving especially a blockbuster trade. However, it does happen like this. So it's kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy that this has happened, and it's getting a lot of attention. So that's why I'm making a little bonus episode on here, kind of giving you my thoughts. If for those who had watched my NFL free agency episode, kind of the start to free agency, we've seen the Raiders do a bunch of things. At that time, we said, okay, they're going away from Max Crosby, but now it seems like the Raiders might actually keep Max Crosby as well as keep all these moves that they have done, because they've made a lot of moves. Hopefully they all go through today, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have enough cap space, but they've got in Jalen Naylor, Linderbaum, a bunch of corners, and a bunch of people for the defense, so they've made their defense better. They're going to get Fernando Mendoza with their first overall pick. maybe they sign a wide receiver like a Tyreek Hill or Deebo Samuel possibly. But they've been on the move and they've been making a lot of good moves. And, as I said, they were my biggest winner of day one of free agency. And I still think they are a big winner because now maybe they get to keep Max Crosby, which he is great. He's one of the best edge rushers in the league. And I do want to know here, Adam Schefter did say people were offering deals for Max Crosby, but again, now with this physical, is it going to mean that his trade value is going to be less than what they got? They had 2 first-round picks for him, which I thought was a steal. But Shefty says this. He says the Raiders have already received calls from, quote, several teams inquiring about the availability of Max Crosby in a trade. For now, the Raiders are prepared to actually keep getting Crosby healthy and have him play for the Las Vegas Raiders. But they are listening to other teams. So if a team actually, comes forward with a crazy offer, they might accept it. But it seems like now Max Crosby, who was initially going to be a Raven, is now going to stay with the Raiders. And the Raiders might be cooking something up, which is absolutely going to be insane. It's insane. But Max Crosby, he's been giving us a lot. He's been giving us a lot of things to talk about these last couple hours and the last couple days. But for the Raiders, I mean, if you can keep Crosby as well as all these players that you have come in, I'm going to bring in Sport Track. Sorry, Sport Track is kind of the best place for all these money things. So I'm going to just show you guys all these players that it looks like the Raiders are going to sign as long as they have enough cap space. And they had like $200 million in cap space, so they definitely have the money, and they just now lose $30 million with Max Crosby, who's one of the highest paid edge rushers in the league. But I'm going to pull this up here. Like, look at this. I mean, they get Tyler Linderbaum, who might be the best center in the NFL. They get Kwity Paye from the Indianapolis Colts, Quay Walker from the Green Bay Packers, Nakobe Dean from the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Naylor from the Minnesota Vikings. As I'm a Viking fan, I'm well aware with Jalen Naylor. He probably would have been a wide receiver too on most teams, but he had to be behind the dynamic duo of Jefferson and Addison. And they were able to also re-sign Eric Stokes and then this other edge rusher, I believe. But also, they got Kwity Paye to replace Max Crosby. But now maybe Max Crosby and Kwity Paye will be able to share the floor. This is kind of crazy to see what happens. I do want to see if they still have to re-sign some players. They do have to re-sign their kicker if they decide to do that. I mean, there's some other names, Tyler Lockett, some older players that I don't know if they're necessarily going to re-sign. But they still have cap space, I'm pretty sure, as well, which is a really good spot to be in here. Let's go to team cap. So I think they should have, so now they don't have the most money. They did prior to this whole news. They had the most money available, but now they still have $50 million in cap space. Maybe now they hold on. Maybe they just make a move for like a Tyreek Hill, and then that's it. And then maybe they can still keep that much in salary cap. I would want to see next year. I don't know who's a free agent next year, but they still have $64 million for next year. So like they still have money to, give extensions for. So they're in a really good spot right now. And if Mendoza is a really key statement here, but if Mendoza can actually, be an average to maybe a little bit better than an average player, they might be cooking something up here. And I said maybe it's a dark horse team to be a wildcard team next year in a weaker AFC. But now maybe, I mean, who says no? If reckless speculation, we can do this. It's reckless speculation time in free agency. But is it possible? Is it possible that the Raiders now could be a legitimate threat to the Denver Broncos or the LA Chargers or the Kansas City Chiefs in taking the division? Like, I could see it happening. Maybe this team can beat the Broncos, and that's the deciding tiebreaker. Who knows? I think the Broncos will probably still take that division, but who knows? And then I think that division just got much more interesting with Max Crosby because it looks like according to Schefter, it looks like they're going to keep Max Crosby unless they get an offer that they cannot reject. Like if they're offering maybe 2 more first-round picks or something like that. But again, with this whole thing of maybe he's not going to pass a physical, maybe it decreases his trade value. So maybe they decide just to keep him, and maybe then in the end it actually helps them in the long term, and maybe it helps them win a playoff game or make a playoff team. Maybe they go from worst to one of the best teams in the league, which is crazy. Obviously, Mendoza has a lot riding on him. They still are missing a couple pieces. I'd say they're still missing a number one wide receiver, but it's going to be interesting to see. But now we turn to the other side because I on this, I titled it Ravens Madness because I said the trade is off, but Trey is in because Trey Hendrickson, one of the best defenders in free agency, is now officially going to be signing a deal with the Baltimore Ravens, which leads me to believe that the Baltimore Ravens, I don't even know. Maybe they're just saying like he quote unquote failed his physical, but maybe they just wanted Trey Hendrickson instead. In my opinion, I think I would probably take Trey Hendrickson most of the time over a question mark on. I have a question mark on Max Crosby just because of his injury, and I think that's probably what happened with Baltimore. But now Trey Hendrickson staying in the AFC North, right? He's going to play now with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. I think I like that a little bit better. I like that defense a little bit better than like teams that were interested, like the Bucks. I think were interested. The Panthers were interested. Who the Panthers? If they would have got them, they would have been a legitimate contender, I think. But it's just really interesting now because they get Trey Hendrickson, so he's gonna now get to play Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, which I think is really intriguing. But this, I think, when I was kind of dissecting the Max Crosby trade to the Baltimore Ravens, when we thought that was actually going to happen, I was like, had mixed feelings. Like, I liked it, but there was something that I didn't totally love about it. I like Trey Hendrickson to the Ravens more than I like Max Crosby to the Ravens. I don't know why, but I just feel like he fits better with them. And I think that could have been the missing piece. It didn't matter which one of these guys they got. I think that was a clear missing piece for the Baltimore Ravens defense. They needed a pass rusher, and one of these guys, both of these guys are very good pass rushers. So, with all that being said, trade is off. Trey is in. Trey Hendrickson, I love this. I love this for the Ravens. And, they signed him to an insane deal. I believe I wanted to see the full details. I think it's $112 million. So that's $28 million per year for Trey Hendrickson over the next 4 years. A monster deal. Maybe he can finally compete for a championship. He was in the Super Bowl with the Cincinnati Bengals when they lost to Matthew Stafford and the Rams. However, we know what happened there, and now that defense has been a mess. So now he gets to go onto a championship contending defense, and with that new coach, you got Lamar Jackson, you have Derrick Henry. The Ravens just got more scary, and sure they got more scary if they were going to get Max Crosby, but there was still, of course, a lot of questions to do with the whole Crosby situation because we didn't know if he was fully healthy and stuff like that. So it's going to be, again, really interesting to see what ends up happening with all of this, Raiders Ravens mix. Like, do the Raiders end up keeping Crosby? And from what I'm understanding, I think they're going to end up keeping him, which again, that's just crazy. It's so crazy. Like, we went from them trading him to now the Ravens saying, oh, he's not healthy enough for us. But now the Raiders look like they're going to keep him, and it could help them maybe even become a better football team. It's just insane. And this is why I love, the March. It's March Madness, I guess, if you want to say. March is normally a time when we're talking about college basketball. No, we haven't even talked about college basketball at all on the podcast because March and April are going to be so interesting, with the NFL free agency, kind of starting up. We got the draft coming up, and then we're going to get the NBA draft in a little bit. But then we also got NBA and NHL playoffs. MLB season is starting. March and April might be the best 2 months of sports ever. But I think we've had the best sport day. The last 24 hours here has been insane. As I said, we had that 83-point game from Bam Adebayo. We had this whole Trey Hendrickson, Max Crosby mayhemness. We had USA get upset in the WBC, and it's just been crazy. And so this is why I thought it was, well deserved to do a bonus episode, really 3 bonus episodes combined into one, and appreciate everybody for tuning into this episode. Let me know your guys' thoughts. With this whole thing, Max Crosby, do you think Max Crosby is a better fit for the Raiders or the Ravens? We've already seen Max Crosby play with the Raiders. Do you think he makes this team better? Because this team has done really good things in free agency so far. They have been my winner of free agency. But now with the addition of Trey Hendrickson, does it make the Ravens a Super Bowl contender when we were already saying they were a Super Bowl contender without Trey Hendrickson, because they have a great defense, Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson? But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, as I've been saying throughout this episode, I will interact with your comments. So send me some comments, your thoughts, reactions to all of this. I will probably like the comment and respond to you. Maybe we can get a good conversation going. But again, appreciate everybody for tuning into this bonus episode. I'm gonna have to go for now. I got some other things to get to. Appreciate everybody for watching this. Just want to say, coming up the rest of the week here, this is mostly, again, for the full episode, whoever's watching the full episode. Basically, coming up tomorrow, we'll have our normal Thursday episode. It's either going to be a spring training check-in for the Twins, but if the Timberwolves find themselves to lose another game to the Clippers tonight, we might have an emergency Timberwolves episode coming out tomorrow. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you want more content like this. I got almost daily shorts coming out. We got a weekly rebuild coming out on Saturday. I believe we're doing the Baltimore Orioles. It's an interesting rebuild. I'm starting to film that these next couple days. Kingdom Competitors comes out Saturday or Sunday. Episodes weekly every Tuesday and Thursday for the podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. Whether you just watch this NFL episode or you watch all these episodes, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to keep God first because he's the most important thing in your lives. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Again, let me know your guys' thoughts about all of the things we talked about. Have a great day. Don't forget to keep God first because he's the most important thing in your lives. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.